What's up, everybody? Welcome to Bios3 Raw TV. Today we're going to talk about mental effort and just the mentality in general of the differences between a beginner, intermediate, advanced, and elite level athlete. Now, there is definitely a difference in all of those categories I just mentioned. Myself being all of them, having been all of them, I'm now towards the elite side where I'm finding that mentally I can make something happen in the gym that I couldn't when I was younger. Even 4 years ago, I couldn't do what I did now. So there's definitely these different levels that you get to. And as you break through these mental plateaus, you're able to put more effort per rep, which is a very strange thing and it's hard to explain. But the best way I can explain it is if you took somebody who's been in the gym for a month and you put them on a bench press, and you took another bench press right next to him and you put somebody on there that's been training for 20 years, the experience shows, and it's not the experience that they've learned how to do the exercise better or more or correctly, the other one's not. They're doing the same movement. They're taking a bar, they're lowered it to their chest, they can use the same form. But what is different that you see? There's something very physically different that their bodies are doing. That's the mental effort, the mind-muscle connection. These things that can't be measured by science or any test or anything like that is taking place with this advanced athlete. Now, everybody's going to have well, not everybody, but different people have different perceived levels of dedication. And this, again, will, without a doubt, progress you faster or slower depending on how much of that dedication you have. When I was younger, I was the beginner, and I was in the gym and I was trying. And, a lot of my buddies would go in and they would putz around in the gym, but they weren't really focused on trying to be a bodybuilder or get better at what they were doing. They were just lifting weights and goofing off and trying to get a better chest to pick up chicks and stuff like that. But to me, I wanted to build a better physique. I wanted to be better than I was. I wanted to compete. I wanted all these things. And the more time I spent in the gym, the more I realized, I could push myself a little harder than they could. Maybe stronger than I was, but for some reason, I was pushing harder, although it looked similar to what they were doing. And I remember, and I don't know if this would go from being beginner to intermediate or intermediate to advanced. I was doing an exercise. I don't remember what it was. I just remember when it happened. And I noticed that even with, back then it was a Walkman, even with a Walkman on, I couldn't hear the music for a bit. Like I couldn't hear anything. Like I didn't know anything else was around. It was almost like I blacked out, like although I was awake. Like you could have been doing jumping jacks behind me. I wouldn't have seen you doing it in the mirror. And I couldn't hear anything. And when I was done with the set, it was like, whoa. And I put the weights down and I could hear the Walkman again and I could see things and it was, my vision was a little bit blurry, but it was a very, very strange feeling. But I was really in tune with something that was going on with my body. That was the effort that was changing going into the workout. It was changing from something that I was doing as a hobby to something that was becoming much more at that point. And I didn't understand what it was. It was becoming more intense. It was becoming putting more effort into these sets and more effort into the stimulation of the muscles somehow. And I didn't know what it was. It was a mind-muscle connection that was happening to where you have to blank everything else out to get it done. When you're studying, some people when they study, there could be a party going on around them. They don't even fucking pay attention. They're just busy studying. They concentrate on that one thing. Well, I have ADD. It's very hard for me to concentrate on any one thing. But this is the one thing in my life that I could literally blank everything else out and slow everything down around me and do this one thing. And the more I did it, the better I got at it. So I got to the point where I didn't have to wear a Walkman because, if somebody's dropping plates or slamming weights or talking behind me, I didn't have to wear a Walkman because I couldn't hear them anyways when I was training. It was like my focus was when I got in there, I'd grab the weights, and although I could hear just mumbling going on or whatever, as soon as I got into the set, I couldn't hear them. And as soon as the set was over, the mumbling took place again. It was a very bizarre thing. Now, the amount of effort that you can put in, this is a whole other video that I'll get to at some point. The amount of effort that you put in will without a doubt increase results in the gym. So if you're trying to gain muscle, you are without a doubt going to kick it into another level when you can put more effort per workout. And that was when I really started making jumps. That was without a doubt my physique, and I was only about 16, 17, 18 years old. At 17 was 145, 153 was what I weighed at 18 years old, and then 173. So it was probably between when I was 18 and 19 years old. I had been training for 3 years already. And now I noticed, I was going from that 135-pound skinny kid to 173 pounds, which at the time I didn't consider skinny. I mean, at 19 years old, I considered that pretty thick. benching the 100-pound dumbbells for multiple reps, like 15 reps. Things have drastically changed, but I also noticed that, the weights that I was using, I was no longer, able to pay attention to what's going on around me. If I dropped the 100-pound dumbbell on my head, I was going to get hurt. If I was under, and I never squatted a whole lot, but I was like 315 as a 19-year-old kid. If I had 300 pounds on my back, it felt like it was going to crush me. That's how heavy it felt. So there's no way I could pay attention to what's going on over here or what's going on over there. You had to focus mentally on what you were doing. Therefore, you could put more effort into that rep as opposed to somebody who had just the bar. The effort wasn't going in there. So the bar could be heavy to them, but if there's no effort going into it, the 315 is heavy to you and the effort's going into it, you're going to get a difference. Now, on the flip side, if the bar was heavy to someone and they were putting in the effort, they would get results. If 315 was light to someone and they weren't putting in the effort, they wouldn't get the results. So you see, it's very mental, and of course the weight applies. You have to get heavier and heavier weights as you get progress to stay in the same rep range to get the same effort. You have to increase the weight. So there's a kind of a forced periodization that happens that your body just adapts to. It just kind of gets stronger. You add weight to keep the rep range. And all that is based on that effort that goes into the gym and the mind frame of you being able to get in the gym and get it done. Now, some of you are probably watching this who are beginners and are like, what the fuck is he talking about? As long as I lift weights, it doesn't fucking matter. As long as I get my meals into 24 hours, it doesn't matter. I understand that you don't understand because I was you. The difference is you're not me and you never have been me. Someday you may be me. This is getting fucking weird. But someday you may be where I'm at and then you'll understand. But there's a whole other realm that goes into training. Not so much the diet. Diet is diet. It fucking sucks. But the training itself, that it's hard to explain. And when you hit it, things happen. I mean, things happen fast. And it's not something that, when you hit it, you're going to love it. You're going to absolutely love it because it's a whole nother level. You walk out of the gym feeling phenomenal. I don't know if it's a bigger endorphin boost you get or something, but you walk out of the gym on that day when you've pushed yourself to the max limit, you just feel like $1 million. It's intense. It's insane. It's awesome. It's one of the best. It's better than certain drugs. I mean, it just is a feeling you can't explain. So be aware that there are different levels of effort that can be put into the gym depending on what level you are. But these levels of effort are mental. They're not physical. They manifest themselves through physical by the mental capacity, pushing them to make them come out. It's kind of a mind and body blend together. It gets so zen type shit. It is very, very cool. But when it happens, you'll know it. When you can't hear anything around you, then you realize, holy shit, I blacked out while I was training. No, you're on that level of intensity. Biowestertraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. www.biowestertraining.com is the blog, and here's the levels bicep, and we're out.
Extreme. Make plans to be at the 2014 Blue Ridge Fitness Festival, April 26, 2014. Mark the Machine Lowbliner brings the ANBF Natural Bodybuilding Show to Roanoke, Virginia. Extreme Living brings Jerry Ward of Bios3 Training. More information can be found at extremeliving.biz. We'll see you there.